Huh? One word. My century coming right up. My favorite cut.
Shoddy work! Shit, I tell you!
Possesses a known history of poor conduct.
Reload them, you mandatory retirement indeed. Covering down. Look who's back. Hunkering down.
I've counted at least 6 horrendous death screams since you arrived. You must be affected as well. Could it be? You seem an honest-to-goodness rational human being, unhindered by bloodlust, unshackled from their basal ganglia. Well then, by the Loeffler Risk Intercession Act, under Outbreak Provision 5A, I hereby press you into service to aid me in our present crisis. I, Elmet Ormsby, Product Envisioner, Department of Proprietary Methodology and Audacious Advances, am your interim supervisor. Because I've squirreled myself away inside our test chamber for safekeeping? Well, I assure you my position as lead visionary of this innovative lab persists regardless. But back to the exciting news about this incredible new opportunity. You working for me, as an aide-de-camp of sorts, on a brief yet no doubt exhilarating assignment. Assuming success, your fee will be based on the length of your involuntary impressment, dangers from exposure to undisclosed hazards, etc. It should be quite fair. Don't focus so much on monetary compensation. Think of the goodwill you'll earn with Auntie's choice. We have vision and we are going places. This project especially. You see, our lab is a far cry from the others. You're part of something bigger here. The individual not only thrives, but shines even more brightly with the help of their brethren. It all requires a certain devotion. In the end, it's really quite in the best interests of everyone's careers. A rising tide raises all boats, as they say. Well, it should all be rather straightforward, yes? I suspect we'd use a top-down indirect coronium synthesis method, don't you think? Oh dear. It's occurred to me this might benefit to some extent from medical training. Are you perhaps someone well-versed with pharmacological matters? Apologies. I do tend to assume everyone has a doctorate. No matter, if you are capable of following simple instructions, I'm sure I can guide you through it. Tremendous. Well then, before we roll up our sleeves and determine what's needed, any questions? Oh, my favorite topic. By all means, fire away. Yes, the Protectorate formerly utilized it for seed storage or something equally prosaic. Anything else before we set to it? Our lab's focus is the utilization of local flora and fauna in development of commercial. But as much as I'd love to natter on, we probably ought to get matters underway. We'll need 2 things: fresh samples of the red spores and the findings from the expedition that originally uncovered. After that, an antidote should be possible in relatively short order, with your skilled assistance, of course. How exceedingly fortunate. Just one thing left to gather, then. Spore samples may be taken from a red plant indigenous to an area of tall rock formations northwest of here, ingeniously referred to as the Red Spire. Once we have an antidote firmly in hand, we can save my remaining colleague.
Goodwin here. Field report update. We are approaching the Raptidon den. These beasts have exhibited excessive irritability as of late. We endeavor to determine why. Surely the red spores aren't to blame. Wind-borne spores lack the catalytic agent of our food additives. Only way to be certain is to gather a stool sample. Simple enough. A routine task for the Audacious Advances field team. Quiet now as we approach the rap's nest. Certainly the spirited variety will offer... Oh, no! Oh, okay. We need to run now!
my most favorite, least homicidal subordinate. How's all our fieldwork progressing? Absolutely gorgeous. Look at you. And to think I just forcibly coerced the first gormless dunderhead who walked by and found you. Lucky me. Now, first things first. Place the data cartridge in the drawer for me, right here, in the slot below my intercom. Haha. Allow me to give this a cursory eyeball and... perfect. I'm sure we have the correct neutralizing agent here in the lab. I'll nose out the exact compound within our chemical reserves in 2 shakes of a rat's tail. Always fortuitous to have ready access to a key chemical agent nearby. This might work out yet. Auntie may ignore our recent setbacks if I deliver an easy-to-market product. Just imagine the ad slogans. Air, now with extra fractiousness. Though, I suppose it only works on other... Oh, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now we must formulate an antidote. If we're able to save my remaining subordinates, they can help us rush this product to market. Well, it's a textbook example of the medulla oblongata wagging the cerebellum. Although, frankly, there's a plethora of ways to stimulate the reptile brain into such a... None of the previous methods were anywhere close to being this commercially viable. But where there's a will... there. I have determined the ideal counteragent. Enable the device and it will beget a working antidote moment. I cannot wait to put this entire sordid affair behind us. Though, in the end, this should turn out to be quite a lucrative day. I saw you working the chemical synthesizer. I presume you were successful in creating an antidote? Nice try. But you don't possess nearly the... Not when I can simply bide my time and wait for another gormless dunderhead to... Not budging? Oh, all right. I suppose I'd be willing to throw in a little extra as a merit bonus for your superlative performance. Wonderful, wonderful! Knew you seemed a bankably reliable sort. All right. I am activating the air filtration system. There. Should only take a few moments for the antidote to circulate. Everyone still alive should be right as rain shortly. Marvelous. You'll find your remuneration in the chest behind me. My supervisor will hear of your actions. I, Omid Ormsby, under the power granted me by the Loeffler Risk Intercession Act, hereby free you from impressed service to be seeing you. The biological samples within the remains outside are no doubt deteriorating rapidly. I may have to recreate this experiment somewhere else.
Who goes there? By orders of Marshal Donaldson, no one comes or goes to the Automech Repair Center without approval. What's your business here?
Now you've done it. Slowing down a ranking protectorate official is worth 10, 20 demerits if you're lucky.
All right, let's not lose our heads over a simple misunderstanding. You're free to pass. Marshal Donaldson likes to greet new arrivals personally. We'll let him know you're inbound, so no one shoots on sight. Oh, and fair warning, watch out for Zeranium gas. We sprung a leak. How observant of you. One more thing. Don't cause any trouble around these parts.
Outsider?
Prudence dictates. We cherish all we have, outsider.
All that matters is getting these automechs to the Vox relay station.
But Marshal, we must adhere to decontamination procedures.
What in the name of the architect? Oh, right. My guards told me to expect a new arrival, right before our chief mechanist decided to harangue me with the latest on our catastrophe.
Marshal, you're acting as though I'm not standing here auguring the impending doom of this facility.
Woodrow, normally I would be obliged, nay, happy, to receive your senseless jawing, but not today. Perhaps this outsider can assist where you've failed. I hope you've come to help, because a crisis is bearing down on us, and I've a dearth of reliable hands with which to manage it. You see, Woodrow, why, at this rate, we'll have the facility up and running in little to no time.
That's what scares me, Marshal.
Like you, me and my consternated head technician are new arrivals. Though we may not last long if we fail to repair the Zeranium leak. I wouldn't have put it in those terms, but I appreciate someone who speaks their mind. The Vox relay station needs our automechs. But until that leak is fixed, this facility is a target for the sport of Auntie's armaments. Delphinia Bryant is working on a prototype Zeranium shield. Whoever uses it will be less disposable and more useful to the Protectorate. That's the spirit. You've got gumption, nerve, and daring do. Almost.
Marshal, those automechs have been corrupted with Zeranium. I can't even cogitate. Should they go berserk, we may well be turning the very subject you intend to resupply into their...
Then perhaps you had better explain to Brigadier Montelli why his defenses are grounded. And you can do so...
Montelli? I rescind my objection. May the delicate workings of the paradigm...
There's a good fellow. Cleave to your loyalty, and it will never steer you wrong.
Prudence dictates we cherish all we have.
First they attack, then there's uranium. At this rate, wouldn't... Never getting caught up.
Outer chassis sealant test number 14 is confirmed a failure. Uranium exposure rate appears to be unaffected. Test model displayed standard overload-induced paralysis, then became atypically aggressive. Forced to terminate test model in self-defense.
Oh, a new arrival. Oh, and what's this? Your symptoms are fairly pronounced. If you'd indulge me, I have a few questions I'd like to ask. For medical posterity, and so on and so. First question, can you describe the conditions in which you were exposed to this uranium? It's a wonder you're still upright. The emanations outside that building are thick enough to be... I'd suggest paying a call to our visiting scientist next door. Purportedly, she's devised a device that can block the effects of uranium gas. All right, next, for instance, do your bones seem noticeably softer somehow? Have you observed any sterility on your way in? Or aching in your thyroid or spleen? All classic symptoms of uranium exposure. Not as a token of my appreciation. Allow me to there, that should do it. Do stop back in if you suffer additional exposure. I would love, be pleased to act as your consulting physician again. Should the... Oh, gladly. What would you like to know? Uranium is a crystal. Even in its raw form, it generates energy. But once refined and stored in a quasi-gaseous state, its output increases exponentially. Uranium is found in a liquid state as well, but it's far too hazardous, and refined uranium is used to power nearly all major protectorate technology. It's an amazingly... However, it's also highly unstable and must be mined exceedingly carefully. Even minor bumps or jolts can cause uranium crystals to explode. Total avoidance is best, but come to think of it, our visiting scientist next door is working on a device that shields the user from uranium's effects, though she was having a spot of trouble last I heard. Uranium in its default crystalline state poses two risks. First, it's extremely volatile, exploding with an immense burst of energy if upset in any way. Second, uranium crystals produce a small amount of gas, which we think helps stabilize its crystalline lattice, but that's just a theory. In this gaseous state, uranium is quite hazardous, breaking down organic matter through a mechanism we still don't quite understand. The concentration of the gas is a critical factor. A person could remain in a light haze for several minutes, whereas a dense cloud can kill near instantly. Anyhow, I could talk about this all day if I let myself. Hope I haven't bored you unduly. Was there anything else I could help you with? Don't have much to spare, but you're free to have a look.
What brings you to this fine establishment?
Caught a piece of shrapnel during the attack. What about you?
Uranium poisoning. Only a mild case, but the doctors are withholding treatment to study my symptoms.
Sovereign's mercy. How do you feel?
Downright privileged is how I feel. Sick with pride, nauseous with courage, and chronically fatigued with honor. Stay true, outsider.
Outsider?
Oh yes, I adore interruptions. I was just saying, what's best for stoking the spark of invention? Regular disruptions to one's train of thought. Now what is it you want? Ah, our good Marshal sent you, did he? Well, unfortunately, the device is taking longer than expected. Assist me, and you'll get more than bits out of the equation. You'll get a prototype shield gadget, the first of its kind. Now tell me, are you familiar with Zeranium gas? One and the same. That building took the brunt of the damage during a recent attack, and now it's spewing valuable Zeranium all over the place. I could speak at length about Zeranium's many captivating intrinsic qualities, but suffice it to say, in its gaseous state, it's rather deadly. So what am I endeavoring to create? A protective device that shields its wearer from Zeranium's remarkably unsavory effects, as well as other forms of harm. Quite splendidly, if I do say so myself. The principal function of the device is confirmed operational. I merely need to work out some minor implementation concerns. Alas, while I'm occupied with inventing this shield gadget, I also find myself in need of assistance regarding its key components. Good, good, wonderful. As an added incentive, I'll allow you to keep one of the prototypes. Now here, you'll need this apparatus. It's for collecting stray Zeranium effluvium. Gas, that is. Merely activate the device once it's inside a Zeranium cloud. The one around the main hangar, specifically. Try to avoid any fields of dense Zeranium, or death is all but assured. Any questions? Well, of course, obviously. To that end, I'd suggest choose. If you suffer prolonged exposure, assuming you survive, see our local medical officer next door. She is highly preoccupied by the treatment of... Oh, so
Ah, you're back. And you've been cavorting with Zeranium again, by the look. Certainly, there is a nominal cost for treatment. All right then, hold. There, all better. Ah, my little minion. I trust you've made progress in your tasks? What did I tell you? Perfectly safe. Either that or you tolerate Zeranium poisoning like a champ. Good for you. Should you suffer from any lingering symptoms of contamination. Now, on to business. The device already generates a field exactly as specified, albeit on a very small scale. What's needed now is something to help extend and shape the field around the user.
I require a component called a catalytic amp. You'll be pleased to learn there's one right here at the facility, in the Dragoon that's patrolling just outside. You would imagine so, wouldn't you? Unfortunately for me, our chief mechanist, Woodrow, wasn't enthusiastic, so you may have trouble getting your hands on the catalytic amplifier. I'm sure he's just being cautious. Should Auntie's choice attack, no doubt he also seeks to retain an unspoiled automech, since the others are by now riddled with Zeranium poisoning. Dragoons are a mainstay of our military. The design has been in production for decades. You must have seen the large automech patrolling the interior grounds. That is the Dragoon. Good. A flexible mindset should behoove you on this task. Perhaps the chief mechanist will prove more. Failing that, be prepared to exercise. One last thing. The Dragoon must not be harmed. Not only would the amplifier likely be damaged, but we'd both be summarily executed. Assuming we... well...
Give me a sec. Almost done with this work list. Another sealant failure, amplifier requisition, and 2 more cases of Zeranium exposure. We're a mite bit busy these days. She and I have been over this 100 times. Please understand, the original staff of this facility were rounded up and refreshed because they couldn't safeguard a protectorate asset. Why should I follow their example by reducing our sole working Dragoon to a pile of unpatriotic scrap? I can't. I won't. If you're really so desperate, you can track down our second Dragoon. Damn thing wandered up the coast and hasn't been... I'd have sent someone to retrieve it myself, but Dragoons are stubborn when their instructions are unclear. Good hunting.
Any closer to obtaining the catalytic amplifier? Oh, superb! I'm almost tempted to ask how you managed it. But pressing on. Just a moment to remove what I need and install it in the prototype. With this gadget, you'll be shielded against more than Zeranium, you know. Damn near everything, as long as it's charged. Now, report to Marshal Donaldson, if you please. He's rather impatient to end this crisis so he can turn his focus back to the war. You do that. Anything to...
Look who it is. What is it? Certainly, there is a nominal cost for treatment to cover essentials. All right, then.
I'm glad that spectacle didn't scare you off. Between the recent attacks and the gas leak, whether or not you're able to help us, I'm grateful to... Uranium is hardly my area of expertise, but it falls to me to find a solution. Lest I follow my predecessors to their I knew Dr. Bryant would come through for us, that she'd prove her worth, seeing as you're the only one trained in the use of that gadget. Make your way inside the repair hangar and find the control terminal. And be careful with that terminal. We don't want the situation getting any worse. Why in law's name would you want to know that? Glad to hear. Any further questions? Don't worry about Woodrow. Yes, there is some risk that exposure to Zeranium will corrupt our art. That shouldn't stop us from but that isn't...
Back. And you've been cavorting with Zeranium again. But certainly, there is a nominal cost for treatment. All right, then. There. All better.
What What have you done? The uranium now spews from the hangar more thickly than ever. The damage must have been more advanced than we thought. I knew I should have... This is my fault. The blame lies squarely on my shoulders. I gambled up...
this post so many times I could do it in my sleep.
Mind you don't let the bosses upstairs hear you say that. I ain't even close to hitting rock bottom. Middling bottom, sure, but not rock bottom.
Commander, your munition supplies are low. It is best we discuss acquiring more ammunition when we are next traveling together.
Minister, I'm telling you I can do more. I've been proving myself to you time and again, haven't I? All I'm asking is a mite of trust. Let me fix my arm, and I'll...
Calm down. You know the risks you enhanced troopers present. My utilizing you at all is kindness on your behalf.
I'll calm down when you stop braying your little excuses. How about that?
My, such aggression. You scarcely need add hostility to your list of inadequacies.
Ain't so sure you want to work for this imbecile, friend. There's more menial jobs where that came from. Ain't so sure you want to work for this imbecile, friend. There's more menial jobs where that came from.
Been working at that spot of business we discussed. Easier to lead with fewer targets nibbling at your psyche. Loose your words. I'm listening. Scouts reported a plume of smoke thick and wide billowing from the facility. Sure didn't seem to be mechanical exhaust. Got more to report? Just that Milver Street requested her presence for some mission. Normally I'd demand to be paid, but I was just glad to get her some work. Trooper Sealong was one of my best enhanced soldiers, but never took to her grafts. Been uncertain what I could rely on her for. So Milver Street holds her contract. At least for now. Trooper Sealong ain't a fragile wallflower. She's a soldier. And even at reduced efficacy, she's worth 15 of any grunt picked at random. She's got a contract. And she ain't so far gone we can't make use of her. But the fact is, her grafts are holding her back, and it's only getting worse. Now, let's talk. There's an alternate path, but it's blocked by Zeranium. I'll order my troops at the forward operating base to aid you, and you'll punch through together. From there, your target's the Skycutter Tower. Seems it was recently reactivated, and by our engineers' metrics, might be useful in overloading the Vox's defenses. Wouldn't trust the Protectorate's over-engineered perfection to cook a Spratwurst. Give me the no-frills, disposable quality of Auntie's choice any day. If by some miracle your contraption doesn't turn you inside out, I'd give you a much quieter route to the Vox. Much as I'd like the bridge's clearing. Once you pass to the northern end of the island and enter the Skycutter, you'll need to find the tower's power routing controls. Mayhaps you can step light, though. There's no Protectorate gallivanting near the tower, which like as any means something bloodthirsty lurks within. Stay intact.
I must say, I have many reservations about this. The Protectorate has always provided for us. For what reason would we forsake such a stable and safe way of life?
Because, friend, with the Protectorate, you're only surviving. With Antes, you'll be thriving.
So your superiors order you to thrive?
No. It's just something you can do on your own. You'll have bosses and employers, but it's up to you to get yourself to the top and make yourself the employer.
I see. And why would I want to do such a thing? Surely my assigned place would provide me with all the necessities of life?
Yes. But you could have more necessities, and even some unnecessaries.
For what reason would I desire material possessions which are, by definition, unnecessary? And while we're on the topic, what are you potentially gaining from recruiting me?
Ah, that's one of the best parts, chum. When you sign someone else up, you get a bits bonus.
I see. This free market idea, seemingly not without merit. I'll require some time to ponder this.
Of course, friend.
It's not a tasteless idea. That should totally be annihilated, just like all capitalist propaganda. Praise the matriarch!
Captain, have we truly certified that all in our midst are suited for this mission? It would be most disheartening were any of us to bear reservations.
If you take issue with my presence, speak plainly. My loved one's deeds bear no influence on my own.
Your loved ones, Juan? Once a loved one of mine became a traitor, I would no longer refer to them thusly. Unless you still harbor feelings.
Enough! Your sniping discredits you both. Wardens must speak through action. Move out!
I'd heard tale of those war-bred monstrosities, but this facility is overrun. We must pull back. Return with no less than a support battery.
Wardens do not retreat, nor take any ignoble action. I shall excuse your cowardice by way of shock. Whether we are destined to succeed or die, we shall do what is required of us. We will not falter. Marchand, make a duplicate of our field recording. In the event we don't survive.
Is there any way Ames and Marchand could have...
I'm sorry, LaRue. They died in the service of the Protectorate. Stop. Breathe. Then we shall press on.
You surprise me. We cannot complete this mission and yet live. And should we live to see it through, your wife shall meet her end. Yet, your resolve remains unshaken.
Any less would disgrace the Sovereign. Disgrace us all. Shoulder your rifle. We shall press on and see this mission to its completion.
That noise doesn't sound like... Oh, blast! Hand me my rifle!
various wounds. At least one of my lungs meets the open air. LaRue fell swiftly. Screamed for me to help, but if I had remained to aid her, the mission would be at its end. The mission which is now doomed regardless. I arrived here to find the controls non-functional. Since my weapon delivers magnetically contained electric charges, I inserted it into a conduit hoping it would spring to life, but the Fairfield power controls have deteriorated. I wish I could admit relief that in my heart of hearts I wished my love to live, despite her traitorism. My darling, I am sorry. But were you here, I would use the last of my strength to slay you. Our feelings are not even a candle to the incandescent love of the Sovereign. Our blood, my blood, for the Protectorate. Signing off.
I get the feeling we're not welcome here. Like the Protector folks resent us liberating them.
Someday, when I make it big in lower middle management, I'm gonna come back here and buy this crummy tin pot saloon.
Take care in the northern regions of the island. Fewer reports from scouts. Heightened degree of danger. Maybe that's something to look forward to. Loose your words. I'm listening. Good work. Sure, it'll aid your path into the box. Presuming you keep your nerve.
Ain't so sure you want to work for this imbecile, friend. There's more menial jobs where that came from.
Welcome, welcome. See any... How can I improve your day the Auntie's way? Sprats again. Must be after the crunch. Welcome, welcome. See anything you like? No sign of them sprats, thank law. Coming back out. Be there in a moment. How can I improve your day the Auntie's way? Gladly. No better choice.
pulverizing them suffice? No, I couldn't liquefy them. Approach with less haste next time, won't you? Copernicus may be tame, but he still doesn't take kindly to being startled. You don't know? But I thought everyone in Fairfield knew. This is top secret. We must speak. Thank the law you knew to enforce protocol, lest I blabber corporate secrets to the wrong person. No, wait. You're not one of Auntie's choice. Oh, my. Then you must be of great importance. I am Ethel Tinsley, chimeric scientist. I'm responsible for taming this delightful raptidon here. He will protect our... Officer Carr has been in a state waiting for me to train the raptidons to, maul on... One might say I'm perhaps a bit on edge. Folk here have grown weary, shall we say, with the war effort. And with avoiding Carr and the ministers... If you two have spotted the chasm between them, I fear I'm unused to the way things are done here, I suppose. The Protectorate leadership never behaved in such... The fact is that those two never got along particularly. One wishes to woo Protectorate subjects to our ranks. The other wishes to secure a decisive victory with weaponry and technology. As for which approach is best, I wish I knew. Then her hands will be tied no longer. I suppose I can find relief in that. Some may think, but I have come to believe there may only be one way to truly defeat an enemy such as the Protectorate. She believes this as well. Very well. I work directly with Officer Carr and her soldiers to ensure they're outfitted with the best... In theory, they'll be trusted to guard our most precious assets, including our leadership. For now, they deter encroachment from... I'll not have such pessimism permeating my lab. It makes the Raptidons anxious, you know. Hello again. Remember not to move too... What can I do for you?